Welcome back. I hope you refilled your biltong bowl because we have someone so inspiring that you have to sit down to watch. Simone Kruger, a South African Paralympian athlete who competes in the discus throw and shot put events at international track and field competitions. She's a world champion in discus throw and also competed at the 2020 Summer Paralympics in Tokyo, Japan. The 19-year-old is joining us on Zoom. Good evening and welcome to Sports Live, Simone. Great to have you. How do you balance discus throw and shot put, which have two very different capabilities?
I do the same technique, so I think I do the spin technique for both of them. So I think it's small changes because discus is maybe like wider feet and the shot put is smaller feet. So it's just small changes, yeah.
Small changes with big results indeed. Take us through your highlights. I squeezed through it, but I'm sure there were moments when you were winning these titles. Tell us about them.
I think my biggest title was last year in Paris at the World Champs. So I won the gold medal for the first time and broke the world record. And I think my second best international event was in Dubai in 2019, where I won the silver medal, but it was officially my first time breaking the world record. So I think those two are my biggest events, and yeah.
It sounds fantastic and you make it sound so easy, but I can imagine when you are in the motions, what's going through your mind?
I think there's a lot of things going through my head. For example, I like to talk to people to get my energy. So I am an type of extrovert when I'm on the field, so I like talking to people, but also you have to focus in the circle. So I think the moment you step into the circle, you have to focus on the technique, but otherwise just enjoying the moment, definitely listening to the coach, what he has to tell you. For example, my dad went with me, not as a team coach, but as a personal coach to Paris. So he was my coach there, and for example, his words of encouragement for the things I have to do right the next throw, yeah, and it's almost that's the most going through my head, yeah.
Well, listen, we're feeding off your energy right now. It's fantastic. What is your secret, though, Simone, for two different, capabilities? Like you said, shot put, discus. You've won these incredible awards. But what category are you in? I know you're in the F28 category. Explain that to us.
I'm actually in the F38 category, so that's cerebral palsy. So it's a brain injury. I got a stroke when I was still in my mother's womb. So that's my disability. So it affects the right side of my body, the movement. So from a very young age, I had to start building up all those muscles that didn't work like they should have, and so it was just to get my body where it should be. And I think discus and shot put, I've done it from a very young age. I started with shot put when I was 8 years old because my sisters wanted to start it, and I told my family, no, but I want to do it with her. And then the discus also, I started when I was 10. Instead of actually starting at the ages, for example, shot put, you normally start at the age of 10, and discus, you normally start at the age of 12. I had almost a 2-year advantage that most people, I think, if you didn't start training earlier, didn't have. But also, I started doing the spinning technique from a very young age, and I had a really good coach at that time. Well, my dad was always my full-time coach, but we had two very good coaches. Coach Pierre Blighnet that recently passed away. He was one of the main people that we used their technique, and I think he did an amazing job with me. And Coach Eben Vermaas, they are the ones that do the technique, the discus and the shot with the same technique, so it makes it so much easier to do both of them.
Sounds like you have a stellar team right there with you. Now let's backtrack a bit. You took a break after you matriculated to focus on your athletics career. How has that impacted it all?
I think it impacted it really good because school we figured out takes a lot of my energy because studying, I have to go to sleep at 9, and because of matric and everything, normally because there isn't that much time to study, my sleeping schedule got out of hand, so it started tiring out my body a lot. So now to have that extra hour or extra 2 hours of sleep that you normally don't have, I think that gives me the energy I needed to perform better in my practices and in my competitions, because it is needed. And also, I think just getting a routine of just relaxing more and don't stress about tests and all those stuff. So I have more time to train than I normally had. So I think all those things together just makes it such a more effective year for Paralympics and World Champs coming up.
Absolutely, an effective year indeed. Also, we must not forget you won the ASA Athletics of the Year. What was that moment like?
It was definitely amazing because it's the first time that they brought para-athletics into the ASA Athletics Awards, and I think that was just, I think, a big honour for all of us para-athletes, that they can recognise what we achieved, because I think, I don't know how to use the right words.
It sheds a spotlight.
I think there's a lot of brilliant para-athletes that I think are coming up, and to know that they are willing to recognise us also is just a big honour for, I think, all of us para-athletes. So yeah.
Yeah, I think speaking of your recognition, do you feel that it's gaining momentum where more para-athletes will be given the spotlight they deserve?
Definitely. The para-athletic side of the Paralympics, there's a lot of youngsters coming up. And I think Poseletsu, Janay van der Merwe, Janay, all of those athletes that are starting to come up, I think will just make this para-athletic side of the sports just amazing, because I think there's a lot of potential in all these athletes, like Mpumi that got the gold medal last year, and Luzon and Cohen and all those people that just did amazing. I think this para-athletics for the Paris that's coming up is just going to be huge.
Oh, Simone, you sound like such a team player. What are your goals going ahead now for the Paralympics?
The goal is definitely going for the gold medal. I think the previous Paralympics, we learned a lot of lessons out of it. It was circumstances, weather that we couldn't actually control. So I think we just had to learn lessons and know, let's say, if it happens again, how to handle it and how to get a better achievement, better distance out of it. I think we learned a lot of lessons out of it. But I think now that we're actually ready for it, I think definitely going for the gold medal and the world record again at the Paralympics.
Thank you so much, Simone Kruger. You sound ready and able and willing. That's going to be fantastic for us, as always, to bring you inspiring stories.